Welcome back, guys. This is definitely our last presentation. All right, and I do hope that all of these presentations, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, will assist you as you prepare for your exams. All right. So we were hoping in our last presentation that we would have looked at these two areas, notably the impact of climate change on the environment and strategies put in place to mitigate climate change. But time ran out on us, so we were only able to look at the first section. So we're going to look at this section right now. The strategies put in place to mitigate climate change. That word mitigate, mitigate, basically is a nice pretty word that has to do with lessen. To lessen. Not can't stop it, but just to lessen it. So what strategies can be put in place to lessen the effect of climate change? In other words, what can we do? What are the things that we can do? What are the things that governments can do? What are the things that households can do to lessen our impact, our contribution to climate change? That's what basically what the heading is asking or is saying. Number one, we can start by using renewable energy. Move away from the use of fossil fuels, which when you burn give off greenhouse gases, which destroys the ozone layer, which causes the atmosphere to be heated up and has a lot of side effects. So we can shift our reliance away from these fossil fuels and utilize renewable energies such as solar, that is the sun, wind, geothermal. Geothermal has to do with like heat from volcanic activities or energy from some natural sources. Hydro has to do with water. So like hydro dam, the dams that you use to provide electricity, and biomass. Remember that biomass is a compound word. Bio and mass. Bio refers to life form. So that's to do with animal form. And mass has to do with the animals, all right? Or the products, the byproducts of the animal. So biomass basically, in a nicer way as we possibly can say it, is the use of the excrements or the feces from animals. Sorry, for example, pigs. And did you know that, for example, that the feces from pigs can be used to make butane? What is butane? Butane is cooking gas. Does affect the ozone layer at all? Yes, that's something for you to think about. And there are persons in Jamaica who don't buy cooking gas. There are farmers, they rear animals, right? And there's a special process that you go about, and they go about these processes, and they are able to capture the gas that is released from these biomass, from these feces that these animals use. Notably, for example, like the pigs, all right, and they are able to use it to make butane that they use to cook their food. Has the same smell that you get from the gas that you buy from, like, let's say, Petcom or any of these other outlets that you buy gas from. All right. So that's number one strategy: the using renewable energy. Second strategy: energy conservation. Conserve on the energy that you're currently using. The energy that you're currently using is the result of the burning of fossil fuel. So you cut back on it, right? So if you're in a space and you don't need to burn the electricity, turn it off. Turn off the light. Consider carefully how you use it, or you go in and out of the refrigerator. So when the time gets hot, for example, instead of keep popping in and popping out and popping in and popping out when you want some cold water to drink, why not take out the ice, set some ice, put it in an igloo, put water in it, and you have that out, and you use that for a couple of hours instead of keep going into the refrigerator and coming out. And when you're cooking, sit and plan what you're going to cook. So that when you go into the refrigerator, you just go there one time, take out all that you need, and then you close the refrigerator. So you're conserving on energy. All right. So improving energy efficiency by reducing the amount of energy consumed in buildings, in transportation, carpooling. So look at your technical high school. When you come to school every day, look how many cars are in the car park. If we are that conscious about the environment, what we could do is persons who live in a particular area, they pull vehicles. So let us say three of us live in an area, right? And three of us have car. Today I drive my vehicle and everybody who live in that area travel with me. So instead of having three cars on the road coming to Via Technical High School, giving off carbon monoxide, which is a greenhouse gas, we only have one. So that's two less cars. The next day, another person with a car rotates and does the same thing. The third day, another person, and you rotate it, so you have less greenhouse gases being emitted into the atmosphere. And the same thing goes for industries, right? Revolutionize how you produce your goods, right? So you can cut down back on the type of greenhouse gases. Number three, sustainable agriculture. That word sustainable mean that it works for a long period of time. All right. So you encourage sustainable land use practices, promote by promoting climate resilient crops and limiting deforestation. Let me give you an example. So you are going to plant a crop. You're going to plant something, and you clear the land. So you clear the land that you're going to plant. All right, and then you choose the type of crops you're going to plant, and you plant different types of crops at the fringes of your land. Then you plant crops that will take longer to mature. All right, so inwards you're planting crops that are what do we call them, cash crops, and then the further out you go, you plant more crops that take longer to grow, longer to produce. So you're sustaining the land, you're protecting the land, you're diversifying the crops that you plant. So sustainable agriculture is very important. Limit the use of chemical fertilizers. Use organic fertilizers. What do I mean? Use byproducts of plants, use byproducts of animals. One of the best fertilizers you can use, even though it smells bad, I must admit, is chicken poo. Chicken poo is rich in nitric acid. Nitric acid is very important in the production of crops. Crops like potatoes, especially root crops, carrots. It's very good for that. All right. So you things like that can be considered. Then you have carbon pricing. That's implementing carbon pricing strategies which will help to reduce greenhouse gas emission. In other words, you place a tariff or a tax on companies that are burning a lot of fossil fuels, so they feel it in their pocket, and they'll have to find alternative ways to manufacture their goods, right? So that they don't they emit less greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. So when you charge them taxes for the amount of gases that they emit in the atmosphere, then they're going to realize that it pays to cut back on the amount of fossil fuels that you use. All right. Number five, research and innovation. Research and innovation is very important. It's key to economic development. It's key to a sustainable economic, to a country practicing sustainable development. All right. So promoting and investing in research and innovation in all sectors to develop, watch this now, new technologies and techniques to tackle climate change. I'll give you a quick illustration. So motor vehicle, we have a lot of motor vehicles coming on the road, but they don't burn a lot of um, um, fossil fuels, gas, diesel. They use electricity. I agree it is expensive to purchase, it is expensive to maintain. But think about it. Which would you prefer? For us to kill the planet that we don't which kill us off soon? Sorry, or for us to invest in something that will give us a longer time on our planet. All right. A lot of products are coming out that use solar. So you have solar lighting, for example, instead of you using lighting powered by fuel, by fossil fuel. So you buy solar lamps. You get the point I'm driving at? All right. We have public transportation. Encourage citizens to use public transportation instead of personal vehicle to avoid carbon emission. So the less vehicle you have on the road, the better for you. The more person using public transportation, the less vehicle you have on the road. That's a ticklish thing because people like their comfort. But we have to sorry, we have to give these things serious consideration. We are either going to be considering our personal comfort, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but you have to process carefully, or you want the earth to last longer for yourself, your children, and your children's children. It's a hard choice that we have to make. Number 7, reduction of waste. Reduction of waste in household, industrial processes, agriculture, so that less amount of waste is produced. There are some waste that you use that that can go back into the land. There are some ways that you use that you can package differently. Um, Change the way you buy products. So instead of buying a lot of plastic products because plastic cannot break down, you buy products now that are in environmental friendly packaging, so that when you use them, they can be put back in the environment. They can be degraded. They can be broken down and go back and add nutrients to the soil. Right? Number 7, urban planning. Encourage sustainable urban planning and the development of green areas in the cities. So when you build, you plan for the cities. Take Maypen, for example. Maypen is concrete and asphalt. You hardly have any green space there, except for the few homes where you have some trees there. So when rain falls, for example, Maypen floods. Because what do you have? The water running off the concrete, the water running off the tar, and the water has nowhere to seep in. So the place floods. But if we plan where we live, if we plan our urban areas and create green spaces, so that these green spaces are here where you have plants, vegetation, so that green spaces now can absorb the carbon dioxide that is being produced by whatever activities that's happening there, then it will go a far way in cooling the temperature in those urban spaces. Number 9, advocacy and awareness. That's public teaching we are talking about. Teaching and encouraging. Encouraging the public to adopt sustainable practices by raising awareness of the consequences of climatic change. And that's what we are doing in this lesson. What we're actually doing here in this revision and the classes that you had was public awareness. What we now need is advocacy. We need you and your teachers to start advocating for the use of sustainable practices to encourage people to do things that will keep our planet healthy, right? You have and that's a notation there that an anemometer is used to measure wind speed, and a thermometer is used to measure air pressure. And the final one, international cooperation. Countries need to cooperate. Multinational corporate companies need to cooperate with each other to help each other, to support each other as we work together in tackling climate change and thereby limiting the global temperature below 2 degrees Celsius, which is 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. I trust these things were able to help you. Yeah, this is not just the all in all of it. There are other things that we can do, other strategies that we can employ to limit global warming. But you and I, in our own personal private space, can do those things. That burning the garbage, we can cut out the burning of the garbage, for example. I'm just throwing that in the mix. You know what I'm saying? So we can find creative ways to limit our contribution to the global warming, so that our planet can be revived and we can be a lot healthier and we can prepare for our children and our grandchildren. Have a great day. Thank you for studying with me, and I wish you well in your exams. Bye, everybody.